Hi beautiful people! So today I'm going to be talking about confidence, and this is something that for so long, like all of middle school and like the first 2 years of high school, I struggled with this so much, with feeling so insecure and not feeling good enough about myself and not feeling smart enough, not feeling pretty enough. Literally any blank enough that you can think of, I struggled with it, and I was very insecure about that thing, I'm sure. And like I think what made it even harder was I didn't talk about it with anyone, and all my friends and my family members, everyone in my life is insecure about different things, right? We all have different insecurities, but I just never talked to anyone about it, and so that made it even harder, I think. So the reason why I am doing this topic today is because literally over the past like 2 or 3 weeks, 7 of my friends, no joke, 7 of my friends randomly in conversation, friends who are not friends with each other, like they have no connection to each other, randomly have told me that I'm a very confident person, okay? And this has literally like shocked me. Every time I'm just like, wow, like thank you, I appreciate that. And I just think back every time that someone says that, like I appreciate what they're saying, but I just think, oh my goodness, like I have changed a lot since middle school, a lot since high school. I've grown in this area of my life, and I appreciate that people see that and tell me that, because it's encouraging. And so today I'm going to be sharing with you what has changed for me, why I'm a confident person. And I'm not saying this to brag, like I figured it all out, I have all the answers, blah, 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 blah. Like my confidence is not from myself. My confidence 100% comes from God. And I'm going to be explaining that, because you might be thinking, how on the earth can confidence come from God? Well, I'll explain to you. At least this is how it's worked in my life. And as a Christian, like I've seen my confidence grow because of my faith. And so I'll be getting into it. But just to kind of clear the air here, I just want to say, like, yes, I'm going to be talking about confidence from a Christian perspective. So if you aren't a Christian, you can totally watch 100%, but I'm just going to warn you, like, this is going to be from the perspective of my faith, my Christian faith. So anyone's welcome to watch, but it might just be a little bit odd or maybe different, something that you've never heard before, if you're not a believer. But by all means, watch if you're not, okay? I just wanted to say that just to make sure that you knew that was coming, okay? So on my journey since middle school and high school, I figured out that these three things I'm going to tell you are the keys to confidence, to being a confident individual and being confident in who you are, okay? Now, this doesn't mean that you're not going to have any struggles or insecurities or anything along the way that upsets you or whatever. Like, things are going to happen and circumstances, whatever, are going to happen in your life that you might struggle with and different things. You're still going to struggle with insecurities at some point, but at the core of who you are, you can have confidence in yourself, no matter what circumstance you're faced with, because of these things, okay? And I'll be getting back to that point of like how you still will struggle with different things, okay? But these things will help you to have a confidence that won't be shaken, that won't be moved no matter what happens, even with those struggles that you have along the way, if that makes sense. All right, my 3 points for you are these. Number 1, be confident in what you believe. Number 2, believe what God says about you. And number 3, live out his purpose for you. Okay, the first one that I said is to be confident in what you believe. So what do you believe about God? What do you believe about Jesus? What do you believe about the resurrection, the Holy Spirit, about prayer, about the Bible, about everything that has to do with your faith? What do you believe, okay? So you can't just believe what your parents believe. You can't just believe what your friends believe or what your pastor says. Like, you have to go out and figure out for yourself, do you believe in God? Do you believe in the Bible? Do you believe that the resurrection happened, okay? And out of all of these things that I'm listing, the most important one is, do you believe that Jesus resurrected from the dead? Because at the heart of Christianity is the resurrection. If there was no resurrection, there would be no Christianity. Everything else just wouldn't matter. The Bible wouldn't be true. Like, I could go on about that, but basically, if the resurrection didn't happen, then there's no Christianity. So do you believe that Jesus resurrected from the dead? Because if so, that changes everything. So what I'm trying to say here is, what do you believe about the Christian faith? Do you believe everything that it encompasses, or do you just kind of believe different parts of it because your family says to believe in it or your pastor says to believe in it? I want you to go out and research on your own, ask hard questions, read the Bible for yourself, figure out what on the earth you believe, okay? Now, if you figure out, yes, I believe for myself, not because for anyone else, but just for me, I believe Jesus resurrected from the dead, then that faith in Jesus resurrecting from the dead, that can serve as the foundation for the confidence you can have in yourself. Now, I'll get into why in a second, but believing that Jesus resurrected from the dead is the start to feeling confident, because that serves as the firm foundation of your confidence. Now, why this is because the next point, okay, which is to believe that what God says about you is true. Because if you didn't believe in the Bible and you didn't believe in the resurrection and all that, then what God says about you in the Bible wouldn't really matter, wouldn't really be something that you would take into consideration, because why believe in it if you don't believe in God and the resurrection, right? Okay, so if you believe, like I just said, then what God says about you in the Bible, that is all true. And I believe it's true, and what he says about me is beautiful. What he says about you is beautiful. And what he says about you, like, changes changes your life. Like, there's so many things that God proclaims about you, just beautiful things, and that changes everything. See, for me, like, I didn't know what God said about me in middle school, and then for like the beginning parts of high school, I didn't really know because I hadn't dug deep into the Bible and figured out, okay, this is what God says about me, this is what God thinks about me. And because of that, I didn't have the confidence in myself because I didn't know what God said about me. So I'm so happy and so excited to share with you the things that God proclaims about you and the things that God proclaims about me. I have a ton of them, and I might be looking down, but that's only because I have some notes and I don't want to miss out on like saying one of the things, okay? So if I look down, don't give me a hard time, please. Also, the verses and all the like passages where I found this stuff in the Bible is going to be linked in the description for you as usual, so you can go check out my sources there. The first thing that I have here is that God created you. He knitted you together in your mother's womb, and before you were born, He knew everything about you. That is so beautiful. The second one that is so incredibly important, this should change everything, love should change everything, is that God loves you, okay? And He doesn't love you for what you can give to Him or what you've done for Him. He loves you for you, nothing else. He loves you just the way you are right now. Next is that God died for you on the cross. God stepped down as man, as Jesus, and took the death on a cross, which He didn't deserve because He loved you that much. That was His love for you in action. So God died for you. And what's so beautiful about the cross, one of the many beautiful things, is that while He was dying, He was thinking of you. He knew that His death could give you new life. And when Jesus resurrected from the dead, He was also thinking of you because He knew that Him resurrecting from the dead meant that you also could resurrect from the dead. Next is that God made you fearfully and wonderfully, and you are His masterpiece, and you are beautiful. That's why I say that at the end of every single video, that you are beautiful and that you are loved, because God believes those things about you. God says those things about you. God gave you unique gifts and unique talents that are vital to this world and to others. Even if your gifts don't look like other people's gifts that they have, you might be jealous of like other people and like what they have. God gave you specifically, unique gifts and unique talents that are so vital to this world and to other people. God has a plan for your life, and He can work out every detail in your life of love for Him out for good. Every single detail God is going to work out for good in your life, and He has a plan for you in your life. All right, the last couple are that God delights in you, that God sees you as precious and valuable, that He is enough for you, and that He is always with you. And I could literally go on and on and on about everything that God says about you, but I want you to dig into the Word yourself and figure out more about what He says. It's just a beautiful love story in the Bible for you, and just like what God says about you. But when you believe all those things that I just said, when you believe what God says about you, that's when you can move into the third point, okay? And the third point is to live out God's purpose for you. Live out why God created you. Live out the reason why you are here on this planet. I believe that this is a lifelong process. Like, it's not just going to happen overnight, but day after day after day after day, God will mold you into the person that He created you to be, into the person that He knows that you can be. What I believe about God and His purpose for you is this, that God created you to be in relationship with Him and to love Him more than you love anyone else, and to love Him more than you love anything else. Because when you love Him more than anything else, more than anyone else, then what He says about you will be the most important thing to you, more than what other people say about you, more than, what circumstance comes your way. Like, the only thing that will truly matter to you will be what God says about you. Because a hard situation can come your way, right? Like a storm, you can think of it like a storm. A storm could come your way in your life, and it could affect you and make you upset and maybe even make you angry, whatever the situation might be. Like, a storm could come your way, but because you built your foundation upon what you believe about God and what God says about you, then no matter what storm comes your way, nothing can shake you and nothing can move you. The reason why I can say that is because God is faithful. God has a plan for me, and everything God says He can work out for good. So those are the promises that I think about when I'm going through a storm in my life, because bad things have happened to me and it sucks, but like, I know God is here with me. God is going to be faithful to me, etc. Like, all the promises in the Bible are true. So that's what I think about when storms hit. Side note, let's just pretend you build your foundation, build your house, build your life upon something other than Jesus, okay? We're gonna say guys, for example. If I built, okay, I'll just say for me, if I build my foundation and my life upon what a guy says about me, which this could be another different video, but I have tried to do that before. I built my identity, built my life off of what a guy said about me, then that foundation is just everything that he says about me. So then if that guy leaves, then everything that I had built my identity upon would just come crumbling down, because that person was the one who I was letting dictate my whole life. I was saying, I feel like I have a purpose, I feel loved, I feel beautiful because of what this guy said about me. But then when that guy leaves, it's just like, I'm left there devastated. My house has crumbled. My life has crumbled because my foundation was not built on something solid. When you build your foundation, when you build your life upon anything other than God, your foundation will not be solid, and it will crumble when storms come along, or when bad circumstances hit, or when people say bad things about you. Whatever it is, like what people think and circumstances that come your way will affect you so much, and it will leave you devastated because your foundation was not built upon God. People are not going to like that I said that. So once you believe all of that, and once you love God, you truly love God more than anything else, then the rest just happens naturally. Like, truly it does. You will be compelled at that point to do so many different things. I have a whole list, and there's so many more too, but you'll be compelled to love others more than you love yourself, be His representative, be salt and light, be hands and feet, serve others and help people in need no matter where they are in the world, to become more like Jesus every day, to be obedient to God, and to trust Him with everything. Use the gifts He's given you to serve others. Like, I just read a whole list, but there's so many more too. And all of that just flows so naturally from loving God more than you love yourself, loving Him more than anything, more than anyone. That is what happens. It just comes so naturally. Now, all of that comes because of what you believe about God and who He is, who He says He is, and what He says about you. And all of that allows you to live a bold life and a confident life for Him, because you have a firm foundation and a purpose-driven life. That, my friends, is where my confidence comes from. That's the secret. That's what my friends are seeing in me, is that I know what God says about me, and I believe in what He says and who He is, and I know, like, the kind of person that He wants me to be, the person that He knows that I can be, and I'm just trying to live out the life that He intended for me and the reason why He created me, I guess. So that is where I get my confidence from. And also, I just want to say, before I forget, I am insecure about different things. I'm not just this perfect, confident human 100% of the time. Like, I do have insecurities and stuff, and I can make a video about that if you'd like to see it. But at the end of the day, I figured out with the insecurities that I do have still, it comes down to a heart issue where I'm not believing what God says about me enough. Like, I'm not caring about what He says as much as I'm caring about what other people think, or like what I think. There are different things that I struggle with that I need to just trust what God says about me more than what other people say, and different things. I could talk about that in a different video. But anyways, I definitely do believe that you can become a confident individual living for Jesus every day and just living out the purpose that He has for you, and that all comes down to just believing who He is and what He says about you. So I hope and pray that this video gave you clarity about this subject in this area. If not, you can always reach out to me. I love responding to comments and messages and stuff, so reach out if you need to talk to someone, okay? Have a great day, and know that you are so loved and so beautiful.